Hey guys, welcome to Juicy Tea, where I read out the best stories on Reddit, so you don't have to. The funny, shocking, and satisfyingly juicy. My girlfriend willingly gave chocolate to my mum's dog. Posted by Deleted. Last week, we were hosted at my mum's house. We didn't get together on the holidays this year, so we were kinda compensating. We were staying there for 2 days. My girlfriend realised that mum's dog started vomiting and seemingly suffocating. We rushed him to the vet. He was put on IVs and thankfully, he survived. Turns out, my girlfriend gave him chocolate, thinking it was a treat. Mum was fuming. My girlfriend says it's an accident, but seriously, this is extremely basic knowledge. My mum was still mad, so we just left. My girlfriend didn't apologise or anything because she feels like she was mistreated by my mum. Wait, what? She didn't apologise? I was gonna give her the benefit of the doubt that she effed up because everyone has common knowledge gaps and it wasn't done maliciously. But she didn't even apologise? What the hell? I'm asking her to understand that she almost killed the dog, but to no avail. How bad is this? The dog almost died. She refused to apologise and doubled down as she was being rebuked. And now she's always bringing it up as she genuinely believes that she was the victim. Appreciate any advice. Down in the comments, Punch Me says, in my culture, it's traditional for people to apologise when they nearly kill someone's beloved pet, plant, child or family member, even if it's an accident. Adam Song adds, my culture observes this tradition as well. And Pink Power says, surprisingly, mine too. Hellhounds Ain't My Baby says, wow, it's almost like we're all part of the same, normal, decent human culture that apologises for mistakes that almost kill someone. My girlfriend is acting obsessed with this random family she just met. Posted by Ardnike. I figured I should ask for advice because this situation is really weird and I have no idea how to handle it. My girlfriend Maggie and I have been together for just 3 months, so our relationship is still very new. Things have been going well, aside from this problem. A few weeks ago, Maggie started a new job and quickly became friends with her new coworker, Joe. For the record, I have no problem with Maggie having male friends. I have female friends, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But Maggie and Joe seem unusually close after such a short amount of time. Like, Maggie was telling me that she was scoping out her coworkers to see who was all business and who she could joke around with. She said it was pretty easy though because Joe was telling her who was cool. But Maggie barely knows Joe, so why does she trust him so much? Maggie and Joe were hanging out so much outside of work that I actually did feel a little weird about it. I then found out that aside from work, they usually hang out with Joe's wife and kids, which made cheating unlikely, but it was still really weird. Most people don't have near strangers hanging out with their little kids that much. Maggie's been putting this family above her other friends. Like, when she waited on RSVPing to a friend's party until she could nail down other plans with Joe and his family. The plans with Joe's family were very vague and hadn't been decided yet, but Maggie was willing to miss her friend's party if it was the only time Joe's family was available. I met them for the first time and it was very bizarre. Maggie isn't a big fan of kids, but she was all over Joe's kids. She got down on the floor and crawled around with the baby. The older kid was very shy and didn't seem that comfortable with me, but she got very excited when she saw Maggie and climbed into Maggie's lap. So Maggie's obviously been spending a lot of time with the family in the past few weeks. The older kid calls Maggie Auntie. Maggie once told me that she doesn't like babysitting and always tries to get out of it. But apparently, she's babysat for them, and she refused to take money for babysitting. This is just so out of character for her. They also made some weird jokes about Maggie coming to live in their basement, which was really weird in combination with everything else that's going on. Hopefully that was just a joke. For Thanksgiving, we decided to just celebrate with our own families, because we haven't been together that long. Joe and his family weren't able to travel far to meet their own family, so Maggie invited them to her parents' house. That's very kind, but it was a couple hours away, and they all slept over, so it wasn't a casual trip. Some pictures were taken, including a posed one of Maggie and Joe's family, with the older kid hugging Maggie's shoulders. Maggie made a comment about how she was glad her chosen family could come to Thanksgiving. It was beyond bizarre because she barely knows these people. She's been in this new job just under 2 months and somehow become absorbed into this random family. This is so out of character. She told me once that she hates it when people she doesn't know well insist on hugging her, and how cheaply some people say I love you, but she's taking this up to 11. Maggie is fretting right now because the oldest kid's birthday is coming, and Maggie apparently needs to get that kid a birthday and Christmas present, and a Christmas gift for the baby too. The only gift I've ever gotten a coworker's kid is when they had a baby shower at work. I don't even know how to bring this up. I know her friendships aren't really my business, but this is so strange. It's making me uncomfortable. I feel like I have to say something, but I don't even know what to say. Maggie cheating on me with Joe would actually make more sense than this. Any advice? This isn't normal, right? Relevant comments. Honestly, this probably is her character, and not out of character like you say. You even said that you guys have only been dating for 3 months. 3 months is the first milestone to make a decision about moving the relationship forward or not. So you have a responsibility here to objectively assess your relationship. One thought that crossed my mind was that Joe's family would love her to live in their basement as a childcare provider, so they may be taking advantage of her for their own benefit. Your girlfriend may be trying to show off in front of you to show that she's lovable and respected by people. Many possibilities. I would advise you to cool down the relationship. Give her space to make decisions about her life and relationship. If she actively chooses to spend more and more time with Joe's family, you have your answer. 3 months is time to decide the future of a relationship, like I previously said. Good luck, and remind yourself of what you deserve in a girlfriend. Better than this. OP's reply. I just don't know. She said pretty clearly that she doesn't want kids, doesn't like them that much, and resents that as a young woman, people just assume that she likes kids and would like to babysit. Maybe she was lying and really does like kids, but I don't know why anyone would lie about that. Even if she liked babysitting, I don't have any reason to care about that. I don't think Maggie would ever consider being their permanent childcare provider. She's a professional with a full-time job that she really likes and went to school for years to be able to do, not a nanny or someone looking for work. I'm just so confused. And she won't even take money from them, so she can't make a living that way. They then ask, what are your ages? Usually 20s are for questioning beliefs. I also said I didn't want kids, blah blah blah, but now I do, and I love kids. So it wasn't a lie. I was just seeing what really felt right for me. If your relationship was serious, 3 months is the perfect time to meet each other's families, but you think it's too soon. However, you also feel like you know her pretty well? Have a sit-down conversation with her. OP's reply. We're almost 30, so not extremely young anymore. I could understand if this was a more gradual change with her feelings on kids, but she went from refusing to ever babysit and not liking kids at all, to a week later saying she loves these kids and will babysit for free, even suggesting it herself. And I think it's just these kids. She made a comment that might have been a joke, but I'm not sure, that Joe shouldn't tell anyone at work about the babysitting because other people would want Maggie to babysit their kids, and she doesn't want to. I'd understand more if there was a gradual change, like if she'd agreed to babysit once in an emergency and then realised that babysitting could be fun and was open to doing it again. But it seems like she's always volunteered and refused to take money for something that a few weeks ago she said she hated and would never do. This whole thing would be much less weird if it had taken place over a longer period of time and could allow for a change of heart, but she met these people a few weeks ago and is suddenly changing her behaviour. Our relationship is new, and even I've known her longer than she's known Joe. To each their own, but I wouldn't meet a girlfriend's family after 3 months, especially during a major holiday with extended family. Maggie agreed with that too, but it's off to me that she put so much importance on Joe's family coming. I've got 2 theories on this. 1. Maggie has a bad home life and is inserting herself into this family because It's the life she wishes she had. 2. Maggie's into Joe. I knew a girl who befriended a married couple just so that when things went bad, she could swoop in and take the husband. No one saw it coming, but it happened. It was like her master plan after 2 years of waiting. Another commenter adds, just found out on Saturday that my good friend of 4 years has had a thing for my husband for quite some time. According to her sister, who I don't know that well, my friend talks about my husband quite a bit, saying how sexy he is and how she wants to have sex with him. At least I found out before she caused any real drama. Good riddance. Someone else adds, do I need to be the one who says it? She's effing Joe. Someone else adds, you barely know her. Her behaviour sounds insane and troubling. This is a big red flag. You're wasting your time. You don't know her nearly as well as you think you do. 3 months and you're already on the internet and unhappy. Don't waste your next 3 months. Another person adds, this is effing weird. Maggie doesn't like kids, but she loves these kids and is buying them gifts, and they're calling her auntie? She puts her friends after this family. She invites them over, but not you because it's too soon? Is she kidding? How does Joe's wife act? Maybe they're swingers. I can't imagine she won't get sick of Maggie being creepy. To even invite them to her family's house to stay over reeks of weird. Odds are she'll get defensive. I'm tempted to tell you to hang in there just to see what happens, but you should probably exit and tell her why. Update. As a quick summary, I thought something weird was going on with my girlfriend Maggie, who became quickly and extremely close to her new coworker Joe and his wife Kate. After just a couple of weeks, she was trusting Joe with everything work-related, babysitting their children for free, buying them gifts, having the kids call her auntie, putting this family above her other friends, inviting them to her family Thanksgiving, and referring to them as her chosen family. I thought that either this whole thing was some kind of cover for an affair, or Maggie had attachment issues. I figured out what was going on. I feel like a huge idiot. I went to see Maggie to ask for an explanation and figured if I didn't like what I heard, I'd break up with her because either she was cheating or she had some sort of emotional issue I couldn't handle. I had the opportunity when I saw the gifts that Maggie had gotten for Joe and Kate's kids. It seems so strange for someone who doesn't really like kids that much to go so overboard for kids she just met. I asked Maggie why she gave these kids such special treatment, even though she doesn't really like kids that much. Maggie explained that she felt differently about these kids because she'd been around to watch them grow, and she was close to Joe and Kate. So the kids are more like family to her, which means she treats them differently to other kids. They're the exception to the rule. Maggie said she'd probably turn it down eventually, but since they were still so young, she wanted to get them something really nice for Christmas. I wasn't really sure what to say next because it seemed so irrational. But then, Maggie said that she used to exchange Christmas gifts with Joe and Kate too, but they'd all decided that it was too much trouble and unnecessary. So these days, she usually just bakes them something or gets them a nice bottle of wine. I realised I was missing something important. If Maggie's had other Christmases with Joe's family, she couldn't have just met them, like I thought. I thought perhaps that Maggie might have some emotional issues that made her attach herself to people she barely knew, but I didn't think Maggie was actually crazy enough to imagine that she knew them before. I didn't want to ask, so I acted normally until I left. When I got home, I went through Maggie's Facebook. She wasn't lying, and she's not crazy. I found a ton of pictures with Joe and Kate going back a decade. From what I can figure out, they all went to college together. Joe and Maggie were big brother and little sister in a co-ed frat sorority, and Maggie and Kate were roommates. I also found pictures of Maggie as a bridesmaid in Joe and Kate's wedding, and pictures of Maggie holding their newborn children, so they're obviously very close friends who've known each other for a very long time. All of Maggie's behaviour makes perfect sense now that I know all this. I think the whole thing is my fault. I have ADHD and I don't handle it well. I've had issues when people are talking to me for a while where I start to zone them out. I've been called out for this before. I think it's pretty likely that Maggie did tell me about Joe and Kate and I just wasn't listening. Maggie hasn't actually done anything wrong or creepy, so I think it's more likely that I wasn't listening when Maggie explained, instead of this being a trick. This was a pretty big wake-up call for me. I've been ignoring my problem because I didn't want to face the facts that it was serious, but I know I need to do something before I make any more mistakes. I'm gonna start off by looking for a therapist. Relevant comments. Imagine an alternate universe where you just went, "So, how long have you guys known each other?" Did anyone else notice when she said she'd been around to watch the kids grow and was close to Joe and Kate, and OP just didn't question that? Dude really needs to start listening to his partner. Remember, I post new content every day, so subscribe for more juicy tea.